NBC5 responds, a bad business model or a Ponzi scheme? That's what several people who invested money with a popular Chicago home flipping business are asking themselves tonight.
The owners of iFlip Chicago are accused in lawsuits of luring inexperienced investors into predatory loans, leading to financially devastating consequences for dozens of Chicago families. PJ Randhawa unravels how things went wrong.
If you're interested in actually learning how to flip homes.
In late 2020, Amira Hadid signed up for a home flipping boot camp offered by real estate company iFlip Chicago.
iFlip Chicago boot camps is 100% hands-on.
This is something that my mom always wanted to do, and I'm a fan of HGTV.
Yeah, and it's your own cousin.
Yeah, and who can't trust family?
My name is Ramo Bay, and it's my wife,
Michelle Nicole Bay.
That's Amira's cousin, Michelle Bay. She and her husband, Ramo Bay, run iFlip Chicago. In addition to boot camps, the company offers joint venture partnerships to first-time investors who want to flip a home.
There were a lot of people who had successfully done flips with him.
Tatiana Barnett is a realtor and iFlip boot camp graduate. Both she and Amira say after the boot camp, they were recruited into iFlip's joint venture program. It was supposed to work like this. Participants would have to provide some upfront capital. iFlip would find the property, provide access to the lender, and oversee the renovation. Then iFlip would sell the home for you and take 30% of the total profit.
You don't have to worry about any of this stuff because they have all of these relationships.
To get financing through iFlip's preferred lender, Ramo Bay told the women his name had to be on their loan.
Being in real estate, it's not something that's unheard of if you don't have a track record of doing, fix and flips with lenders.
At closing, each woman hired iFlip's preferred real estate attorney, Alex Ranja, to represent them. But Tatiana says Ranja never showed up at her closing. They didn't know it yet, but in hindsight, this is where they say things went terribly wrong. Buried in the hundreds of pages of documents they signed during closing were 4 sentences in the loan agreement that put them on the hook for Ramo Bay's debts. It was part of a cross-default and collateralization clause that meant if Ramo went delinquent on any of his own loans, the lender would charge what Ramo owed to the loans he held with other iFlip participants, like Amira and Tatiana.
And Ramo had several past due balances.
The women's loan documents show they were charged thousands in cross-interest fees, all transferred from Ramo's delinquent loans.
This was never about flipping property. This was about taking loans out to pay a debt. That didn't belong to us.
The loans then went on to fail. They were never written to succeed. They were predatory loans.
Now lawsuits recently filed by both women say iFlip lured them into a real estate investment Ponzi scheme, and the lender and real estate attorney were in on it.
So instead of you getting the money to pay the contractors and renovate the home, what was happening with it?
We have no idea where the money is.
How much are we talking about here?
I have lost $169,000. I'm sorry.
We are at risk of losing over $200,000.
Our desire was to elevate the Black community, rebuild and redevelop our neighborhoods.
And the Woodlawn community Ramo and Michelle claim they wanted to revitalize now has 2 more vacant and decaying homes dotting its landscape.
So this property has been this way since 2022.
Sandra Robinson lives next to the home Amira was never able to finish renovating.
It's an eyesore. I hope something gets to be done.
It's disgusting that this is 2 years later and we have no answer. We have more questions than answers.
We found at least 7 iFlip investment properties, including Tatiana's, are currently in foreclosure. In an email, Ramo Bay tells us he and his clients were a victim of predatory lending, and the cross-collateralization policy was never disclosed or explained to him at closing. He says he will go after the lender who caused all this damage. Alex Ranja's attorney tells me they will be filing a motion to dismiss the case. Ramo is still holding real estate investment seminars on Facebook and encouraging church groups to invest. PJ Randhawa, NBC5 responds.